Hello everyone, welcome back to my Systemic Functional Linguistics series, and this is the second video in the series. After in the first video, we have introduced Systemic Functional Linguistics and talked very briefly uh, the core concepts in these linguistic theories. And as I said in the previous video, we would have uh, separate videos in the future to talk the core concepts in this linguistic theory in detail. And here we are. In this second video, I would like to share with you uh, the concept of text, context, and strata, especially how meaning in context is realized in text. But I have to disclaim first. SFL is a new linguistic theory for me. So, although I create this video, it doesn't mean that I have mastered uh, this language theory. Okay, as usual, let's take a look at the outline to see what this video will cover. We will start with the concept of text in SFL, and then we turn to the concept of context, also in SFL. I repeat SFL in SFL here just to, you know, to frame our discussion today, and then we will come to the text and context, which is basically the way we see how the text and context are interwoven together in the process of meaning making. And then we turn to the concept of strata, to see how the context enter or the meaning in context is realized in the text. Okay, just before we conclude all of the discussion. Okay, if you are new to this channel, especially to this series, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button as usual, okay, and activate the notification so when I upload new videos, you are notified as well. So, without further ado, let's talk about this. Alright, and now we begin by looking at the concept of text. Okay, I would like to start with uh, how we usually understand the term text itself. Usually, when we mention the word text, we refer to the whole uh, the whole essay, for example, if it is a written text. Okay? And even we often refer to text as a written text. For spoken text, we usually use the term like or other another term like discourse. But in SFL, as you can see here, this I cited this from Halliday and Hassan book. Uh, Text can be spoken or written. Okay, so written language, whether it is produced in a conversation or recorded, uh, it is text as well. And whether it is long, like the whole essay, or short, like a word or a phrase, or not phrase, but a clause, as long as they form a unified whole, which means that they are meaningful, they are considered as text. And The next one is regarding of what actually make text. According to Holiday and Hassan, text is not merely created or made of words and sentences, but they are actually made of meanings. This means that in SFL, text is a semantic unit, not merely a linguistic unit. So that's why even a very short clause like go away or come can be considered as text because they represent a semantic unit. Okay, this is different from the way we generally perceive text. Uh, we generally perceive text as the whole text, the whole essay, for example, the whole discourse. But that is not the case as long as SFL is concerned. But uh, SFL does not deny that text is made of words and sentences. Yeah. Okay. As we can see here, that the text can be seen from two different perspectives. Okay. Uh, First, we can see text as an object in itself. Okay, like when you read this, okay, this is text. Okay, and this text is made of words and sentences. But on the other hand, a text can also be seen as a process, which is the core of this video actually. Okay, when it is seen as an instance of social meaning in a particular context or situation, which means that the text actually also represents the process of how social meaning or how meaning is constructed, negotiated in a social context, especially the context or situation, which we will see in the next slide. All right, to clarify what text is, we need to see what text is not, okay, or what is not text, which I call non-text. Actually, non-text is a term uh, which is generally used in many SFL sources. Okay, the first the first part here is we can see the examples of text. Okay, like this major clause, students enjoy writing with feedback. We know what it means. Okay, no way. This is a minor clause. And then more research needed in this area. In SFL, this is called a verbless clause or clause without a verb. This may be a little bit confusing because the word needed here is obviously a verb, but in fact it is not the main verb. So uh, it is this clause is verbless. Actually, there is a main verb which is omitted uh, from this clause. If you know what is omitted from this clause, just let us know in the comment section. And then we can also see the examples of non-text, which means that these are not texts, okay? Simply because they do not carry complete meaning as a whole, okay? Like morning, if possible, or more research. Alright, you may say that, oh, I usually say morning to my neighbor, but actually you mean good morning, right? So if you say morning or you write morning, just morning like that, it is not text because the context is not sufficient. It doesn't provide adequate context to understand what the word morning means. Okay, so these examples are different from this one. Okay, and also you may notice that I put the term texture here. The term texture is very important in SFL. The simplest way to understand this term is by referring to what we mean by coherence and cohesion in the text. While I may talk about this in the other videos, I encourage you to search what the term texture means in SFL by yourself. Okay, to facilitate yourself with independent learning. Okay, in the next video we will see the meaning of context, especially the context of culture and the context of situation in SFL. Alright, so I forgot to tell you how to read the picture here, the diagram. So we have seen that text is a meaningful unit or a semantic unit which is created in context. Okay, so this is how we can read this diagram. First is context is the broadest context is the broadest circle here, um, which means that text is always contextually bound. Okay, and then within the context we must have meaning to create. For instance, we want to say I I will buy the book tomorrow, and then let's say that's the meaning in our head. That's something that we want to say or we want to write, and then we have a language system, for example, Indonesian, like my native language, and the word English. In this language system, in our language system, we are provided with many alternatives to express the meaning. For instance, instead of saying uh, I will buy the book tomorrow, I can use a passive voice. For example, tomorrow the book will be bought by me, or something like that. And after choosing the alternative, one of the alternatives that uh, are provided by our language systems, then we create the text whether we say it or we write it. Okay, okay. Now let's jump to the concept of context. Alright, so in the last video we talked about the concept of text, and we have also seen the difference between text and non-text. And now in this video or in this slide, we are going to look at the concept of context. Okay, so first we need to see over here context, what it is. It is the culture and situation in which the text unfolds or the text is created and exchanged in a linguistic uh, interaction. We need to underline the word culture here, which is not confined to the culture of nations. Yeah. Holiday use the word culture to refer to any conventions, values, and beliefs and social practices uh, which are taking place in a social institution. So culture uh, exists in the school, for example, in hospital, in court, in the restaurant, in the football club associations, and so on. So culture equals to social institutions. We can also say that culture equals to speech community, and so on and so forth. Okay, and the situation is the immediate setting of interaction in which the text falls within the culture. So let's say in the hospital, uh, the hospital itself is a body of culture, and then there is a situation, the immediate situation, which the linguistic interaction uh, is the linguistic interaction happens. Okay, all right. So we usually see context as something outside the text, but in SFL, as you can see here, uh, Halliday and Hassan imply that context is actually embedded in the text. Okay, like they say that there is a text, the meaning that we created, and there is other text that accompanies it. Okay, and that text, text that is with or the accompanying text is called context. Okay, okay. So we will see it more deeply. All right. So we have context of culture and we have context of the situation in which the text is created or the meaning is created. Uh, the immediate context is the context of situation, and it covers the topic, what we are talking about in the interaction, and then the interactant, people who involved in the interaction, the speaker and the listener, or if it is written communication, then the writer and the reader, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then the mode, the mode or the channel of the interaction, whether it is a spoken interaction. Spoken can be direct, like face-to-face conversation, or indirect, like through phones. Okay, and then yeah, the the context of situation and culture are realized in the context that accompanies the text. So actually, uh, context can be identified in the text, yeah, because in creating the text, we use particular expressions, we choose particular words over other words because of the context or contextual considerations. Let's see an example. Uh, report, yeah, report, the process of or the act of reporting something. Uh, medical report is created in a, for example, hospital. Research report is created in a university, for example. Both are reports, but they are structured in such a way that makes the culture identifiable. So when we look at a report, we will know that oh, this report, the context of this report is a medical context or in a hospital. And when we see a research report, we we will be able to identify the context. Oh, this is academic report, scientific report, research report, which is used in university. Or maybe we will say that, oh, this is a journal article. Okay, so this is a academic publication, right? That is the difference, the cultural difference, or the difference based on the contextual, the cultural context, which determines how they are structured, uh, and the words that they the words used in the report may be different based on the topic that uh, is being talked or is being reported in those reports. Okay, so context of culture, context of situation influence the text creation in terms of word selections or word choice. Yeah? Uh, and also um, the especially with the context of situation, a report is usually created by for example an employee to the employer. Yeah? It is unusual that the superior person report to the lower or people in the lower position it is unusual that the teacher reports to his or her students. What is usual is the students report to the teacher, or the teacher reports to the headmaster, like so. And then uh, that example shows the what we call it the power, the distance of power between the interactants, whether they are equal or unequal. The word choice will be different. That is the example of context of situation. So although both are reports, uh, report between peers, for example, between peers in a, let's say that uh, they are working in a group and one student is responsible for reporting the progress of the project to the other uh, member of the group, then the word the word used may be different compared to when he needs to report to his teacher. All right. Uh, yeah, and then the report may be also different when the topic is different. Yeah, because the topic or the field of the discourse, like in medical report, when a nurse reports fever, maybe she will use different technical or medical terms compared to when she reports something else. Okay, and then the mood. If the report is oral report, uh, it may be different compared to a written report. So that is how these two contexts enter into the text or relies into the text. Okay, so now we see how text and context are interwoven together. Halliday says that the context play a part in determining what we say, just like what I have said, and what we say plays a part in determining the context. So, what does it mean? It means that uh, by analyzing the words used in the words or phrases or structure used in the text, we can identify the context. We can identify the context, so we can identify the topic, for example. We can identify. Let take a step back here. We can identify the context of culture. Oh, this report is used in a medical context, or this is a research report, not a medical report, like that, or research report in a medical context. And then we also uh, will be able to identify the interactants. Oh, this report is written by an employee, by a person in the lower position, to or for another person in the higher position, like so. Okay. Language construes is construed by and over time reconstrues social context. What does it mean? It means that the way a community or the member of the culture communicate to achieve what a social purpose, like to persuade, yeah, to persuade someone or some a group of people, uh, is influenced by the way they use language to achieve that purpose. For example, in most cultures, when we want to persuade people in, let's say, in writing an argumentative essay, for example, we structure the argument essay, the essay like this. First, we state our position, this thesis statement, and then we provide a series of arguments, and then we reinforce or reiterate the statement, summarizing the main arguments, and then we conclude, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then if there is change in the structure over time, and then the social context can be reconstructed as well. Or another example that I can provide uh, this time is this. Let's say that speak to when I speak with someone seriously, I'm trying to explain something to him using yeah, formal words. I avoid using slangs and so on. But in the middle of the explanation, my adversaries, my friend, for example, uh, makes a joke, and then I uh, I respond the jokes by reinforcing the joke, telling another jokes, and then the explanation turns into jokes like that. So in a sense, we can say that language construes the social context construes the language, and over time they can be reconstructed, yeah, like that. And we'll see strata now. Okay, strata. When we talk about strata, actually we almost conclude the connection or interconnection between context and text. But as you can see, the arrow here, it shows that the direction it is a one-way direction. Yeah. So we begin with of course, context of culture and context of situation. We are answering what is the purpose of this linguistic interaction. For example, in creating a text, uh, am I trying to argue to persuade people? Am I trying to explain a concept? Am I trying to describe things? If so, uh, how or what structure my culture provides me with, what structure of the text that my culture provides me with to write that text types or genre. Okay, uh, and then context of situation. What is it about the topic? Okay, who is involved? Who is involved means that uh, who will be the reader of my, who will be the target audience of my essay, for example. In what way? Is this a printed essay or online essay? Yeah, like that. Yeah, digital. Uh, will I publish this in printed or in digital platform like blog or website? Yeah. Okay. So that is the context. And then discourse semantics. Discourse semantics means the discourse level meaning, yeah, the text level meaning. So what meaning is being made means that what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to tell to, okay, I want to persuade my readers, but persuade about what? That answers this question, yeah. And let's say that I already have the plan about what I am going to say. I will look at my language system, for example, Indonesian in my native language, which is my native language, or English. What choices do I have in my language to make this meaning? So this is, or how to say it, flexible grammar here means that the language system, our language, uh, provides us with choices. We have different choices. We have alternatives to say one meaning. We can use, uh, for example, active structure or active voice, passive voice, and so on and so forth. We can use different words to configure the power, for example. Yeah. For example, instead of use may, you can use will or should, must, just to empower, to enhance the power of obligation, for example, inclination, like so. And then uh, if you have, if we have decided the choice that we take to express the meaning, then we can either speak or write, depends on, yeah, the mode. Am I writing this? Am I speaking about this? Is this uh, oral communication or written communication? Okay, so that is strata. So strata actually uh, is the level of meaning in context realization. Okay, so meaning in context is realized into either phonology, the sounds of speech, or graphology, the written symbols, through the lexicograph, the choices that we have in our language system. Okay, I hope that it clarifies, the strata, and also how context, uh, how meaning in context is realized in text. If you have questions, you can write in the comment section. But make sure that you know that me too, I am still learning this linguistic theory. So we actually learn together. So we come to the conclusion now. I have several conclusions. You can pause this video to read all of that. Yeah. First one, text and context are not separate entities, it is clear, and then context is embedded in text, so we no longer think that context is something outside the text. Yes, it's outside the text, but it is embedded in the text. It can be identified through the text. Okay, and then context and text influence each other. Okay, people use language to achieve particular social purposes, like yes, to argue, to describe, to tell stories, to yeah, to instruct, yeah, to instruct like that. For example, like you buy a new phone, you open the box and you find a little manual there that is a instruction book or the procedural text, and people use language to instruct you. That is the social purpose of instruction, to make you understand, to prevent you from doing harm to your new phone. Okay, the use of language is influenced by the immediate situation too. Yeah, the immediate situation. There are three values or variables in this immediate situation of or context of situations. We will talk about it more deeply in register, the topic or the field of discourse, the interactions or the tenor, and then the mode, the channel. Okay, and then text is made of meaning. So text is not just made of words and sentence. It is not wrong, but there is something more to text, which is it is made of meaning. It's all about meaning, okay? Because language in SFL is a tool for meaning making. And then a language system provides alternatives to express meaning. That is what we call lexicogrammar. Okay? Lexicogrammar, the term itself consists of lexico means words and grammar, the structure. Okay? And then text can be both spoken and written. So we need to stop thinking that text, all text is written. No, yeah, text, a spoken passage can also is also text uh, as long as it is meaningful, as long as it is functional. Yeah, to use holiday term. All right, this is a quick test. I want you to uh, identify the social purpose, yeah, the topic, the power distance of the interactions, and the mode, whether it is spoken or written interaction. You can put your response in the comment section. Okay, and then these are the recommended readings. You can check them out, and yeah, you can enhance your understanding about text, context, and strata. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much for watching, for visiting, and if you like this video, just share it to people who may need it.